Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the 2015 Mid-Season Invitational, coming to you live from the campus of Florida State University here in Tallahassee. And what a matchup we've got coming your way. SKT versus EDG, the only two teams left that are undefeated right here at day one. And let's start by zooming in on the mid lane matchup. Pawn and SKT running Easy Hoon for this matchup. Why do you think they went for that, and how do you think it's going to turn out?
I think that one of my big questions coming into this tournament, after looking at a lot of the finals and the post-Cinderhulk changes in China, was what is Pawn's champion pool going to be? Because he's playing a lot of low wave clear champions like Kassadin, like Fizz. Now we saw his Cassiopeia earlier today, but if we look at Easy Hoon's champion pool, he's, in my opinion, the better Cassiopeia player, the better Azir player when compared to Faker. And these are really, really big picks for SK Telecom in the meta.
And even if we're just comparing Cassiopeia players in this game, I feel like Easy Hoon's a better Cassiopeia than we saw from Pawn. And honestly, this is also a team fight, and by a result, a dragon fight meta right here, and SKT controls that more than anything. It's no surprise here that they've subbed in Easy Hoon because he's a better Azir and Cassiopeia player, and I think that translates very quickly into the dragon fights that we're going to see a lot of this game.
Yeah, and mentioning the subs, Easy Hoon, but they also brought Bengi here. How much of a factor will he be, knowing that they have good dragon control? And on the other hand, Clearlove, also Solov's coming into this one.
This is a really interesting thing because I think Sejuani becomes an incredibly important pick. I also wonder how important the Rek'Sai is going to be for Bengi, or if it's going to be ineffective when we actually get to see the clash of repeated team fights. I mean, there's one thing to have Tremor Sense around Dragon Pit for Bengi, but it's another thing to have Clearlove on Sejuani. Whether or not those are targeted picks or bans, I think have a pretty big sway on this game.
Yeah, and I think if you're SKT, you go ahead and ban the Sejuani here. You really don't want Clearlove having that. It really hasn't been a power pick for Bengi. He's a lot better on Rek'Sai and Nunu, generally speaking. So go that route instead. Ban the Gnar, I think, and ban the Sejuani. Because if you look at a lot of the playoff games from EDG, when they weren't playing these big Wombo hard CC compositions, when they tried to play Juggernaut, when they tried to play poke comps, they looked a lot weaker. So why not try and force them out of their comfort zone and play a different kind of game?
Yeah, and final thought, maybe you mentioned the Gnar already. The Marin versus Koro matchup is also huge in this one. What do you think they're going to end up with, and are they going to get their hands on Gnar at all?
Well, this is crazy. So Koro for Gnar, but then also Marin for Maokai.
Yeah.
Something that's been a little bit outside of norm for this tournament so far in particular is the gross amount of farm the top laners are actually getting. We're seeing a lot of standard lanes. If we're seeing a lane swap, they're not denying the top lane farm, and that sets up these miraculously good top laners in Koro and Marin in order to carry. So I actually feel like the Gnars and the Hekrims and the Rumbles are maybe even higher priority than the Maokai if we're going to see the current trends hold.
Yeah, and even so, yeah, we hit these more high damage top laners, generally speaking. But just in terms of the records too, Marin comes into this 13-1 all-time on Maokai. Koro comes into this 19-1 all-time on Gnar. So these have been power picks for these players. They are specialists in this area. Will either of them get these picks? I'm not entirely sure.
Some of these records are going to break too. We're only 6 games in.
Yep.
These are the only 2 undefeated teams left at MSI.
Yeah, absolutely. What a matchup it is. We're going to send it over to casters in just a little bit, but on the way, Pawn tells us about moving to the Chinese team and playing against the Korean team here at MSI.
작년엔 삼성 화이트 팀으로 출전했었는데 이번에는 한국 대표가 아닌 중국 대표로 출전하다 보니까 좀 색다른 느낌이 있는 것 같기도 하고 한국 팀하고 붙어야 된다는 게 좀 흥미로운 것 같아요.